everyone. Welcome to Third Shot Podcast. We've got a great episode in store for you. But as always, please head on over to our social media Instagram and Facebook at Third Shot Podcast or on X at Third Shot Pod. If you're more of a visual person and you want to take some shots alongside with us, head on over to YouTube. You can search us at Third Shot Podcast, catch up on all of our previous episodes, and see Uncle's beautiful face and our fun crocheted pickles in the background.
I think Virgie already started on her shot, so she's saying I got a beautiful face. So,
Let me
but
catch
thank you. I
up.
will take that. Be nice to Uncle Day.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I don't want to give up what day today is, but I'm going to give up what today is. Today is National Taco Day,
Ooh.
and I am going to do my taco diligence and I am going to try. There's this one taqueria by my house
Hmm.
that makes a monster taco. Like
Oh,
it is the size of a when you get a to-go plat or you get a platter to bring your food to your table.
uh-huh.
In the picture, I've never ordered this monster, but in the picture, it's the length of the tray.
Oh my gosh. What
I'm
do
gonna
they
take a
use
picture
as
and
the
send it to you.
taco shell?
They have a huge hard taco shell. It has a flat bottom, so it's
Mhm.
wide, but it's like half a football on each side.
It's a crunchy taco, though. I would imagine if it's like standing up.
It stands up by itself, I believe, right?
Oh
Because
my
it's got the
goodness.
flat bottom and it's just a monster taco. And it's got all this filling in the middle and it's got the hard shell on the sides and the bottom. And I'm gonna try it. I think it's so much fun. I just want to I just want to take the picture with it.
Yeah, please make sure that you take a picture and send it to me, and we can maybe post it as a story after this episode airs. I don't want to give anything away, but that
Okay.
is amazing, and I'd love to see that. That'd be the biggest taco I've ever seen.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Like if I put the taco up in front of my face, I'm guessing you will not see me.
Oh my god.
It'll be a taco eclipse.
Well, I need one on the plate, and then I need one compared to your head for scale.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
It reminds me, so all of our Bay Area people have probably heard of that Mexican restaurant called Iguanas. It used to be in San
Hmm.
Jose, and I think it recently closed. But
Just
they
recently
had
closed. Yeah.
it's so sad, but they had the largest burrito that I have ever seen. They were like the size of toddlers, I think. They were so big.
The size of a toddler. Oh my gosh. You know what? There was a place also in Hayward that was called La Imperial. It's closed a long time now, but when I was in college, that was the hangout place to go get a burrito, and they had a super burrito. That same thing, right? Humongous thing. And I used to take Auntie there when, we were first dating. We were living in Hayward. We would go down to this place, and she would be so funny. She'd like be chowing down on this monster burrito, and she goes, "I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna finish this." And then 2 bites later, I'm done. Untap it out. Every time. Like, I'm gonna finish it this time. I'm done.
That's too funny. I feel like she's also told me she could eat like 10 cheeseburgers, and I know she's only good for one.
But she starts with such gusto,
She
right?
does. Yeah, she is the definition of when your eyes are bigger than your stomach.
Yes, exactly. And she's got such a tiny tummy, so there you go. There's no way she's gonna finish that monster burrito. I was
That's
thinking of you when we're talking about these burritos and tacos and how much they are, how big they are. Like when you played a lot of sports growing up, and I'm just
Mhm.
curious, like what do you eat before you play, or do you eat before you play? And does it matter if you're having like a morning match versus an evening match versus a midday match? Like what's your eat routine?
Ooh, yeah. So I was definitely a lot more conscious of this when I was playing competitive sports, like in high school, playing soccer and all of that. So I definitely had my go-tos for breakfast if there was a morning game, and then afternoon games, I had a routine as well. My typical breakfast for soccer was a bagel and very light cream cheese. I couldn't do a lot of it. I tried to keep things as light as possible, and fruit typically. And
Okay.
then during the away tournaments, it was kind of an opportunity for me to see how other people ate as well, which it
Uh-huh.
just gives you like a curious insight, to see what other people's routines are. And we'd always go out to breakfast as a team and everything. And some of those girls were putting away like bacon and eggs and like inches of cream cheese on bagels and stuff. My stomach could not handle that. So I was a very plain eater when it came to breakfast. And then for lunch, like at a tournament, we'd have a morning game and then we'd break for lunch and then probably have another game or two in the evening. I would eat either a sandwich, a turkey sandwich on wheat or sourdough, no mayonnaise. I couldn't do the mayo.
Right.
Um, or I would have sushi, like a California roll because that was really light and I would get the carbs from the rice. And I tried it one time and I was able to play really well after that. And so once I found something where I had a really good game, I was a bit superstitious where I would try to continue to have that or line it up so I could have that in following weekends or tournaments that came up next. But yeah, I was a very light eater and I was just more conscious of it than I am now.
Mm.
Now I think I could just be like, "Yeah, whatever. I'll
Well,
deal with the
it's
consequences."
anytime you can fit sushi into the diet, right? The good excuse to have some sushi. So it's like, hey, it's
Yeah,
good luck. It works for me. It fuels me up.
right.
So sushi's a good one. Do you
Yeah.
ever like try to carbo load the night before you play?
Yeah, so we would do have a lot. Oh my gosh, now I don't even eat spaghetti that often because we had so many spaghetti parties and like we'd rotate people's houses on who was hosting that spaghetti party and we would carb up the night before or maybe 2 nights before because I think they say it hits you a little bit better if it's 2 days out rather than just one. But now I hardly touch spaghetti because I think I ate too much of it growing up.
You filled you filled up on
Yeah.
your spaghetti tank at 18 years old. You're
Yeah,
done.
I reached my spaghetti maximum.
Yeah,
Sushi, on the other hand, I could eat that all the time, still.
there's no max there. It's
Mm-mm.
unlimited.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you have your go-tos?
I'm fairly light also. Um, this might be a TMI situation, but I'm always scared I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom,
Yeah, me too.
right? So I don't want to eat too much before I play, especially if I'm gonna be at the venue for a long time, like a
Mhm.
tournament, like what you're talking about, like where you're gonna have multiple games, whether it's a pickleball tournament or a softball tournament, basketball tournament, whatever, or golf, where you're gonna be out on the golf course. And a lot of these golf courses, don't have bathrooms out there. Okay, I'm a guy. If I got to go number one, okay, do that. But if I eat too much,
Yeah.
that's a problem, right?
Yep, trouble.
So, um, I'm a banana guy. I like
Mm,
bananas. Like if I have a morning round of golf or whatever, I'll eat bananas. I do like a little caffeine before I play, so it doesn't
mhm,
make me jittery at all. So I'll do some coffee or something like that before I play. I like bananas while I'm playing, like in between matches or on the course or any of those types of things. I like bananas. Now, if it's an evening tournament or an evening game match, that type of thing, I typically like to have a big lunch, but hours before I know I'm gonna have to play.
so you have plenty of time to kinda start digesting it. It's not sitting in there as you have to get going for your next match.
Yeah. So, like, if I try to time it, so as long as I eat like a good lunch between 3 and 5 hours before I play,
Mhm.
that'll work. But if I'm playing at like 2 o'clock, then I'll probably just do a, kind of a medium breakfast and then not eat until I'll snack on bananas while I'm playing, and then I won't eat until dinner time or whatever I finish playing. Because I feel heavy when I eat, Like I
Yeah.
don't want to, I want to feel like I can move and, I have energy, but I don't feel heavy and bogged down.
Yeah. So, what's your stance on energy drinks? I know that they're pretty popular and there's so many different energy drinks out there now, but where do you stand on yes to energy drinks or do you take a pass on them?
Most of the time I'll take a pass on them. Like if it's like one of those marathon events type of a thing where I'm gonna get there at like 8 in the morning and I know I'm gonna be there till 6 at night or 7 at night just playing matches over and over and over again or a tournament, um, I might have an energy drink just to keep me going. But I don't I don't know. Like I don't really feel it helping me.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a natural adrenaline kind of guy. So if I'm into the games and the matches, stuff like that, it's just my natural energy that's gonna keep me up for it. I don't need like all the sugars and stuff that go into the energy drinks. Like I said, I'll have a coffee in the morning, but I'll probably just one coffee and then just, eat clean and healthy for the rest of the day if I can. How
Nice.
about you? Do you like the energy drinks?
No, I'm not a huge fan of them anymore, but back in high school, I was on my game regimen was a Rockstar before, and there was like a juice Rockstar. I think it was like fruit punch, and I had to make sure I had one of those before my games because again, I think I had a good game after trying one, and I was like, oh my god, now I got to do that every single time. I've grown up since then, so I don't need it anymore. Or maybe I've grown my tolerance for caffeine. And so energy drinks now, it's just like I don't really care for the taste of them too much either. It's
They
a
got that
too
aftertaste or something,
syrupy.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I will say, when I drive from my house to go see you, if I have to drive, and that's a long drive, right? That's like
Mhm.
8 hours, or so. I will have an energy drink on a drive because there's no, like I said, there's no natural adrenaline of playing, right? There's nothing to keep me excited about something. I'm just
Right.
like sitting in a car, boring, just driving straight down the freeway forever, going through the desert, right? So I will do an energy drink for a long drive, but not for sports traditionally.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So I know when the one time though we played a tournament, I think it was the Shamrock Open. I forget. But anyway, and we stopped for this egg breakfast sandwich. I
Uh-huh.
forget which coffee place you took me to, but they had an egg sandwich. I think it was on a bagel or a croissant. I can't remember exactly, but I remember, dang, that thing was good.
Okay, well, we were just talking about energy drinks, and so when you said a tournament, I was thinking Shamrock Open too, because we had a cooler full of Celsius, and I
We
think that was
did.
the first time that I tried Celsius, and those are actually like pretty decent. But that egg sandwich, I know exactly what you're talking about because it's a coffee shop that closed. It was Joe Max, like,
Oh,
around the
that's
corner from my
right.
house, and
That's
you found
right.
your yeah, you found your peanut butter latte there,
Yes.
and now
Yes.
they're gone, it's so sad.
That's the peanut butter latte, like killer. Now I found the other place by your house that has the pistachio latte, and I love that pistachio latte. So I replaced the peanut butter with pistachio. But that egg sandwich was unmatched. That thing was so good.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was just the right amount. It wasn't like super huge. It was just the right amount.
yeah. RIP Joe Max, gosh darn it.
I know. Bring Joe Max back. Can we have like something to bring him back?
Petition.
A petition to bring Joe Max back. Uh, well, speaking of food and speaking of getting energy and being healthy, we have the perfect guest for this conversation. We have James Oliver. He is the founder of Atlas Bars and he has a fantastic story to share with us. He's going to be joining us and talk a little bit about his journey and talk about Atlas bars because we both have them in the background here. If you're on YouTube right now, you can see our box of Atlas bars. We both tried them and yum, they're good and they're healthy. So I'm not going to steal too much thunder here from James, but please stay tuned when we bring James on. In the meantime, go on to our social media and check us out. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Third Shot Podcast, on X Third Shot Pod. And as Bridgie said, go check out the website. Go check out on YouTube, thirdshotpodcast.com, and you will find some just a wealth of goodies. And on that note, let's bring James on to Third Shot. Hey, James, welcome to Third Shot Podcast.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
We can't wait to hear more about your amazing product. But before we get into that, let's do a little toast to you, James, and putting an amazing product out there that's healthy and delicious. Cheers.
Atlas bars, cheers.
All right. Start us off. You got to tell our audience more about Atlas, what it is, what they can expect from Atlas bars.
Yeah. So happy to dive in. So there's obviously a ton of bars out there, literally hundreds and hundreds of bars, and it can be very easy to be overwhelmed and be like, well, another bar, how many more do we need? Surprisingly, I started Atlas because I was looking for something that didn't exist in this large ocean of bars, and I don't know how in the hundreds of brands that existed, this didn't exist, because to me it was pretty straightforward. What I was looking for was something that had clean ingredients, that didn't have a lot of sugar, and that had protein. And you'd expect that those three boxes would be checked by one brand or another, but it hadn't. So I decided to make it because I wanted it for myself. And I also figured that if I wanted it, there probably were other people out there who would also enjoy it. So that was kind of my hunch that led me down the road of initially starting it. And 7 years later, it turns out that hunch it wasn't completely off base. So that was how I initially started it. And that's really what makes Atlas different, is that it has 20 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, less than 1 gram for some of the flavors, and it's made with all clean, natural ingredients.
I love the story that you have on your social media about before you started Atlas, that you actually had I don't know if it was a protein bar or an energy bar. Then you looked at the label and you saw how much sugar it had and you compared it to like a Snickers bar.
Mm-hmm.
Could you share that story? I love that story.
Yeah, it was like frustrating for me. And the exact, I know, because I was looking at it today, the exact product, it's a Gatorade chocolate chip protein bar. You can look it up. I was looking at it today. It has 20 grams of protein, which you're like, okay, cool, it's a protein bar, but it has 29 grams of sugar. So it almost has, that's 45%, I think 45% more sugar than protein. So from a composition standpoint, it's actually more accurate to call it a sugar bar than a protein bar, because there's more sugar in it than, and a Snickers by comparison, I think has like 22 grams of sugar. So for good reason, people are very confused when you say the word bar, and people just have a hard time. I think this is generally true of the food space in general, just navigating what's healthy, what's not healthy. A lot of the trouble is because a lot of the words don't have like formal definitions. Like there's no regulatory body that says what is and what isn't a protein bar. So you could have a bar that has 5 grams of protein and 30 grams of sugar, and you could have a bar that has 30 grams of protein and 5 grams of sugar, and those could both be technically called protein bars, but it's such a wide spectrum of what qualifies or not qualifies, but what is labeled as one. So consumers are rightfully just like scratching their heads, like, how do I do I have to read every single label in order to make a decision? And you kind of do right now.
Yeah, it is a little unfortunate out there. As you mentioned, there are quite a few bars, and trying to navigate and find which one works for your type of diet, but also like it's so easy to kind of hide or mask what is actually being offered to you and what the nutritional value is. So your bar, I mean, it tastes good, it's got clean ingredients, but I'm also kind of curious, like, how did you make a bar? Like, you got your protein powder. Walk me through what that story was like in your kitchen of making your first bar.
So initially, I made it because I studied a bunch of languages in school, and I was going over to China, to Shanghai, to live for 5 months, and I was going there to I was going to live in a homestay, so very like immersed in the culture,
Oh.
and was going to be only speaking Mandarin. And so going over there, I knew that I didn't know specifically what my diet was going to look like, but I assumed it was going to look very different than what I was used to eating in the States. And at that time, I was training a lot, and I was like, I know I'm going to need some protein. So, is there something that I can bring with me to just kind of supplement or augment my diet when I was over there? And so that's why I was looking for something that I would feel comfortable eating every day, if not multiple times a day, that was portable and that was shelf stable. And so I just naturally was led to bars, because I was like, well, that fits the bill, that I can bring that in my bag with me. But none of them checked that box. So then I actually asked my mom, who is very good with anything culinary. I asked her to help me make some. And so we made a couple hundred of them, put them into Tupperware containers, and then I brought them over with me in my bags to Shanghai, and I had them when I was over there. And then I got back, and I was like, I think that this actually could be something more than a bar in my bag that I bring to China with me. And then I started working on it as an actual, like, can I bring this to life? Can I share this with others?
I can only imagine you going through the airport with hundreds of bars in your bag. Like, I would think TSA is going, okay, what's this guy smuggling into China here? Like, this is not normal that you have 200 bars of something in your
Yeah,
bag.
it's surprisingly, I don't think I got stopped, although I will say I've gotten stopped a lot of times for having our current bars in my bags. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the coconut oil or something, but yeah, TSA, because oftentimes I'll be like, right now I'm at our manufacturer for the week, and I'll come back with a bag full of like 50 or 60 bars. And I can only assume that on the x-ray machine, that looks a little odd
Right?
when
That's
there's
what I'm
like
thinking.
no clothes, like no shoes, and just
Yeah,
all of these little packages.
that's what I'm thinking. Well,
Yeah.
you mentioned coconut oil. Share what makes these bars so clean.
Yeah, so it's really simple, and I tell people, like, if I'm sampling the product in person, I tell them that, one, you should always try to have real food first. This isn't supposed to be a replacement for it. This is just there for you, because in the modern world, when we're on the go, we're busy. It's not always practical to be able to have real food, and so this is a good kind of backstop for you. Like, if you're traveling, if you're going through the airport, you probably can't have like a meal, like a real meal with you. So this is a good backstop, but it's really simple to make. Like, you could make these in your home, all the ingredients you could get from a grocery store, and that is definitely not something that you can say for most of the bars out there. You can't find sucralose on the grocery store shelves, or maltodextrin, or a lot of these other ingredients. So we start very simply. We just start with a base of peanut butter or almond butter, depending on the flavor. And then you have to add in some additional things, like we use tapioca fiber to give it some more kind of substance. And because if you just use nut butter by itself, it would just be a little bit too like gooey. So you need something else to give it a little bit more of a base. And then you add in what we use is just dairy protein, so whey protein, milk protein, and then we add in salt, monk fruit, and if it has chocolate chips or peanut flour or something like that, and that's pretty much it. Like, it's very simple, and that's why I was kind of puzzled when other brands hadn't done this yet, because it's not difficult to do, but it just requires some thought and some intention. And the ingredients we use, they are like, we source ingredients from every single, not every continent, but every hemisphere in the world. So we get things from Asia, we get things from Europe, we get things from South America. So we're very intentional about where we get ingredients from, because the quality of the ingredients will dictate the quality of the product.
I love that. And we had the opportunity to try them. Thank you for sending them. And one of my favorite things about them is the texture. They are so soft and chewy. It's like almost like a candy bar, because the texture is similar to nougat. But Uncle, what did you think about them when you tasted it?
I agreed. The texture was good. I don't know how you knew this, James, but I love peanut butter, and you sent me the peanut butter ones, and like immediately I'm like, yeah,
Mm.
peanut butter, right? Earlier, Bridgie and I were talking about like how do we fuel up before playing sports, right? Both of us are super athletic growing up, and even now, right? And I see this as the perfect bar to eat in between games on those long tournament days. Um, you know, Bridget and I play tournaments where we're out there for 6 hours, right? And we have, maybe 8 matches, 10 matches, stuff like that. I don't like getting heavy with food, like in between games and stuff like that. I like something that's going to keep me fueled up, but not feel heavy. This fits the bill. This checks the box for me. And I'm just curious from your point of view, is like you're an athlete, and I'd love to hear your athletic background because I know you train and you're big into athletics. Like, is that kind of where you see people, doing the bars during game days?
Yeah, for it, it definitely depends on the sport, but for something like pickleball, definitely. And specifically for pickleball, because in my experience playing, it's just as much of a cognitive sport as it is a physical sport. And the thing that's really cool about our product is that it does keep you stable. So one of the things I'm wearing a continuous glucose monitor right now, and I'm doing that because I am testing on myself just the impact that the product has on your blood sugar, because what you want to avoid is you want to avoid these spikes and then crashes, because that's when you get brain fog. That's when you feel off, when you feel groggy. And that's the last thing you want when you're playing a game like pickleball that requires fast reflexes. It requires you to be very sharp, very quick. And I actually, so before I had dinner, all I had today was 5 bars. I had 5 of the same bars, and I was just seeing what it does to my blood sugar. And we did just complete a clinical trial too. That was really cool because it was done in a laboratory environment. They recruited subjects for it, and we tested specifically whether or not this impacts your blood sugar in a significant way. And it had the impact 77% less than white bread, so it was very, very minimal compared to what most people are eating. So for something like pickleball, I think it's a great choice because it will give you really steady energy. And that's exactly what you need when you're doing something like a 6 hour tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. So my mom is diabetic, and I feel like I should recommend these to her. Has there been any research done around what your bar offers in people who have diabetes?
Yeah, so I know we have a number of customers because they've shared with us who are diabetic. We have many who are diabetic. We have some who are actually epileptic diabetics, where they will have a seizure if their blood sugar gets too high. So that to me was good anecdotal evidence that this worked in that way. This helped to keep blood sugar low, because otherwise these people whose lives would be very disrupted if it didn't do that, they wouldn't consume it. But I wanted to kind of go a step further and actually confirm that. So that's why we did the clinical trial. So really what they found is that, then this is for the peanut butter chocolate chip flavor, that the effective like impact in terms of carbs was 4.5 grams, which is very, very low. So for myself, when I'm wearing this and when I was looking at the data earlier, it impacted my own blood sugar very, very minimally. So it depends on everybody's metabolism is different. Everybody's system is different. It depends on how sensitive you are. But I think for the majority of people, this would be within the realm of what they could consume if they are either type 1 or type 2 diabetics.
Hey, you gotta talk to mom about that. I think this is could be really helpful. I have a
Right.
friend that is epileptic diabetic, and so I'm definitely gonna pass these on to him as well. Um, I talked a little bit about, our athletic backgrounds. What's your athletic background? I know you play a little pickleball, but what
Mhm.
else do you do?
So I grew up playing football and lacrosse, and then in college I got more into kind of endurance stuff. So I ended up doing a lot of. I kind of skipped marathons actually. I hadn't realized it, but I'd done 14 ultra events before I ever did a marathon. I've only done one marathon, but I've done the majority of the things that I've done have all been things that are like 30, 40, 50 miles. So that's the stuff that I really enjoy doing, like 24-hour stuff. I
So
really enjoyed
you get
just
to drive your car for 20, 30, 40 miles, you know.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Are you running that far?
Yeah, it's a combination. It depends on the terrain, but when you are going those distances, it's a combination of like shuffling, running, and hiking. Like if you're going up a mountain and you're like 18 hours into it, you're probably not running, you're probably hiking. But yeah, that's the type of stuff that really lights me up, because it's pushing yourself to the limit. And the thing that that's been like a double-edged sword for me that I've always told myself is you can always take another step. Like you have to be in a really, really bad physical spot if you can't take one more step. And then if you can always take another step, then you can just keep stacking those steps and you can keep going, no matter how uncomfortable it is. So I've used that many times to to get through stuff that I've done. So I do that, and then I love pickleball for the social aspect of it. It's so fun. I grew up playing tennis too, so I love, pickleball is just it's so fun. It's just so fun.
I know Bridgie's got a question for you, but I have to ask you, like, how many Atlas bars will you go through in an ultra event?
I'll use them more for recovery than I will during the event,
Interesting.
because they're higher in fiber and protein. Protein really isn't, if you're looking for like energy for an intensive event, like where you're going for 24 hours, your body doesn't love to kind of process it for something like that. So historically I've used more, and this is something that there's like a saying that's like no new things on race day, and I've had this habit of doing like all these new things on race day, just like trying things that I've never done before on race day, and it's definitely come back to bite me many times. So that's probably the thing that honestly, throughout all the things that I've done, the thing that has been the most challenging has not been my legs or my lungs, but it's been my stomach. Because if you don't train your stomach to basically continuously consume for like 12, 18, 24 hours while you're moving, your stomach can be like, hey, what are we doing here? This isn't what I signed up for. So usually, like it really depends on the day. Sometimes I've had donuts when I've been doing stuff. I've had just peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I've also had like a lot of the gels, stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I've really tried everything. But I would have Atlas usually after I do all that, so I can really start the recovery.
I just can't even wrap my brain around running 20 miles. And that's something I never even thought was the training your stomach piece of it. In our intro, Uncle had asked me like what I used to eat before or after or like during a tournament growing up. What is it that you have found works best for you as you prepare for one of these ultra events to eat?
Honestly, it's funny that we're talking about it. Peanut butter is. I remember I went to. This was not fun, but I went to Iceland once because I was doing a 24-hour race there in December, and I was flying there from Boston. And my original flight was supposed to be on Thursday night, but they bumped me because they overbooked the flight. So they bumped me. There's only one flight per day that goes from Boston to Reykjavik. So they bumped me from Thursday to Friday. So my flight was going Friday and the race was on Saturday morning. So I took like a red eye Friday night, and then I got in Saturday. And the first thing that I saw when I opened up my suitcase when I got in was that the peanut butter that I had brought with me had exploded everywhere because the pressure changed. So all of my stuff, I had gotten no sleep. All my stuff was covered in peanut butter. And I was just like, all right, here we go. Here we go. So I really don't have like a single thing that I go to. It really depends on what I'm doing. But I do fall back, like peanut butter and jellies are something that I turn to a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with a PB&J.
It's tough to go wrong.
Can't go wrong with that. You know, I was curious, like a lot of people are really into, well, Bridgie and I were talking a little bit about carbo loading and carbs for energy and stuff like that. And where does the Atlas bars fall within the carb conversation, right? Because some people say, oh, this is a high carb, low carb, you got to factor in the protein, all that kind of stuff. So how does Atlas bars fit into the whole carb conversation?
So Atlas is really quite low in carbs. I think all of our bars are, when you kind of take out the fiber and the other things that don't really get absorbed by your system in the same way that carbs do, they're all 5 grams or less. So most people, they're consuming these when they're just on the go throughout the day. They're after the gym, before the gym. They're at work, working from their desk. So it's heavily lower carb than higher carb, and that's why when you asked, is this something that I should have when you're doing like an event like an ultra, that's probably like one of the cases that you shouldn't be having it. If your body is more used to processing carbs, you should be having things that are more carb heavy, because your body needs the glucose to burn through when you're doing something like that. But for something that's not as intensive like that, like I've had these many times when I've been doing things like pickleball, and they've been fantastic.
And I want to point out as well, at least the flavor that we got is gluten-free. Are your other flavors gluten-free as well?
Yeah, they're all gluten-free. I believe our facility is actually a gluten-free facility, so there's no gluten ingredients that are even allowed on the premise.
And let's just let everybody know the 3 flavors they can get are the peanut butter chocolate chip, the dark chocolate almond, and the almond chocolate chip, right?
Yeah, and we actually just came out with another one, which is salted peanut butter, which is what it sounds like. There's more peanuts, chunks of sea salt. It's really good. It's really good. I think I was having like 4 of those a day at one point.
Oh my
It
goodness,
sounds delicious.
that does
Yeah.
sound delicious. I'm going to ask a really stupid question. What is the difference between a protein bar and an energy bar?
I think that goes back to what we were talking about before, where there's no
There's no, it could
standard
be anything.
definition. Yeah, like I could be like, hey, Atlas is an energy bar if I wanted to, and you could have a bar that has like 3 grams of protein technically, and you could say that like this is a protein bar. There's nobody that's going to stop you from doing that. I think most people would, for me, the definition would really be like, is this more like a Cliff Bar? I would say is more like an energy bar, because a Cliff Bar is fairly low in protein. I think it's around like 9 or 10 grams, but it's oat based, so it's much higher in carbs. So that is something that like you could, and I know people do have those for. I mean, he invented it. He started it because he wanted something for like his bike rides around the Bay Area, I think. So he started it really for like endurance energy purposes. So that's something that I would say is more like an energy bar, whereas Atlas, which is a pretty high like protein, like much higher protein than it is in carbs, that to me would be more of a protein bar. So I think, to answer your question, it comes down to like, does it have more kind of carbohydrates or does it have more protein? Because if it has more protein, I think it's safer to say it's more of a protein bar. If it has more carbs, then it's probably closer to an energy bar.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for all of our pickleballers listening who may want to purchase an Atlas bar, where's the best place for them? Where do you sell these? What's the deal?
Yeah, so we sell them on Walmart, on Amazon, on our own site. We also sell them at Lifetime Fitness, and I know Lifetime has a lot of pickleball going on. And for Third Shot listeners, if they use the code Third Shot at our checkout on our site, they will get a discount exclusive to them.
Well, thank you for that. And let's just be clear, spelled out. THIRDAST.
No space, SHOT, all one word.
I want everybody to take advantage of that offer, because these bars are fantastic. And like, I think the one thing that I really enjoy that you were conscious of when you built it is just keep it clean, right? I think that, you can do protein, but not necessarily always clean protein, right? So I love the fact that you have clean, and as you said, for pickleballers, it keeps you sharp, like on the court, because, when those hand battles happen, you don't want to be slow.
Yeah.
You don't want to take a ball, somewhere that you don't want to get hit. So, yeah. So it's I really appreciate all the thought that went into it, and probably all the hard work that you put into creating your Atlas bar. So thank you for that.
Yeah. You got to keep your head on a swivel in the kitchen. That's for
You
sure.
definitely did. Well, let's take our third shot
Yeah.
and cheers to James and everything that he's doing with Atlas Bars.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I got one last question for you. I
Yes.
thought of it after. You mentioned the new flavors. Is there anything else that people can look forward to coming down the road?
Yeah, we'll be coming out with, actually, before hopping on to talk, I was working on what the next flavors will be after that. So we have a couple more flavors that we're going to be launching pretty quickly in the next couple of months. So yeah, there's a lot coming, a lot to be excited about.
Well, we got to make sure that everybody keeps up on the news. So for people that do want to keep up on the news, go to their website, which is atlasbars.com. You can find them on Facebook, on Instagram, also Atlas Bars. And, James and his team are very good at keeping things updated there and get all the latest news. So thank you, James, for coming on with us a third shot.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks, James.
And for everyone listening or watching, thank you for joining us on Third Shot, where Bridgie and I would continue to share our pickleball journey. And a real special thanks to James for coming on with us and everything he's doing at Atlas Bars. You can really support us by subscribing, and we promise to have more amazing guests just like James on future episodes of Third Shot. And let's continue to share our enjoyment for the game and grow this pickleball community together. See you next time on Third Shot Podcast.